In Nahum chapter 2, verse 10, Nahum is prophesying about Nineveh, and he says, "She is empty and void and waste, and the heart melteth, and the knees smite together, and much pain is in all loins, and the faces of them all gather blackness." So, this is essentially a prophecy that Nineveh is going to have a hard time, that she's going to be punished, but this phrase, "the faces of them all gather blackness," I've talked about this in other scripture thoughts, but this is a Hebrew idiom meaning gloomy. The dark skin or dark face in Hebrew, in biblical Hebrew, means sadness, means gloominess, means despair. And so I once heard, when a person from the Genesis group, which is a Latter-day Saint group for African Americans, expound the theory that Nephites in the Book of Mormon or Lamanites in the Book of Mormon were black in the sense of this Hebrew sense of blackness, that it wasn't that their skin was a darker pigment, it was that they were gloomier, more depressed. And he has several verses to back it up. And so whenever I see this in the Bible, I think of that theory. And I don't know how much I believe that theory or not, but I think it's an interesting theory, and it's made me think a lot about what our assumptions are about Scripture. How much of Scripture, you always have to judge how much of Scripture is symbolic. How much are you going to take this symbolically versus literally versus in some other way? There's lots of avenues for interpretation. And so you can believe lots of different things and still look at the exact same scripture. So for example, you could just believe that people literally became darker skinned when they were sad in biblical times, if you really wanted to interpret it that way. I don't think that that's the most likely interpretation, but you could. And it's just an interesting thing to think about. And I kind of like that theory. I'm not sure if I buy it completely, but I like it. I'm somewhat sympathetic to it.